Cadons 0, Wednesday 1. Couple of changes to starting 11 from 3-0 draw away Portsmouth. One understandable, two a little bit surprising, I thought. Well, unsurprisingly, really, Dominic Iofa dropped out of the side. You can't escape from the fact the lads had a nightmare last week. So Akin Firmino came in for Iofa. Meant a little bit of a shuffle at the back. Firmino went onto the left-hand side of the three, meaning Hekwe switched over to the right-hand side. Naturally right-footed anyway. Palmer came in for Hunt. I wouldn't say that was a surprise. It was just a bit of a unexpected. I don't think there's much to call with those two, particularly in the right-hand side position. So that may be just a case of giving them both a game. Where I was a bit surprised was in midfield, where Will Volts came in for George Byers. George Byers, who made most interceptions in last week's game, by the way. And the one enforced change up front, Big Callum Patterson, came in for the suspended Lee Gregory. No surprises with Big Dom, because he did have a stinker on Saturday. There's no big beating around the bush. He's had a nightmare, so some gaffers would have left him in and said, no, don't worry about that, it happens, let's next foot forward. But he's made changes. Obviously promotion's the aim this season, and he's obviously looked at it and thought, no, I've got someone who can come in and do a job, I'm going to do it. The surprising one for me today, but was it a surprise? Well, yeah, yes and no. Byers, I thought, had a good game last week. I thought he kept the ball moving quickly, and I thought in that first half especially, I thought he was one of the real assets for Wednesday, the way he was getting us forward with his passing. Also, whilst he's not a ball winner, he was intercepting a lot and getting a toe in last week. Vital little interceptions, so I was a little bit surprised, but not fully surprised, because as I talked about in a video the other week, links up there, watch it if you haven't seen it. Wednesday really were missing that defensive midfield played especially in that second half against Portsmouth, the role that sort of Luongo used to do for us. So away from home against a team, albeit with a lot of new players in, with a reputation for playing attacking football, understandable in that sense that Volts came in and just gave us that little bit of protection in front of a back three that last week were obviously struggling to keep goals out of their net. Big summary change for MK Dons too. They played the first game last week against Cambridge, lost 1-0. 4 changes for them, but they continued with their 4-2-3-1. MK Dons made the 4 changes from their 1-0 defeat against Cambridge last week. Oyegoki came in for Lawrence at right fullback. Derry Bradley Johnson came into the central midfield berth for McCracken. Robson dropped into a deep role, and Barry came in on the right hand side with Smith playing the support role behind Will Grigg. Positive start from Wednesday, same as last week in many ways. Really good start, and we could have had a goal after 20 seconds. Quick throw inside, Volts opens it up, turns it out the other way to Firmino. He's out to Johnson. Very quick whip ball in, their defender misses it, and it's bouncing up on half volley. Bannon hits it, and it's their defender, I think it's Lewington. He knows naught about that, by the way. That's not brave defending. He'd not got any idea where that ball were. 20 seconds, Wednesday could have been 1-0 up. That would have, really settled the nerves and got us off to a flyer. But it was a nice switch from a throw on the right side of pitch, all the way to left, and a very good delivery into box from Johnson, who took some stick, but that was an excellent delivery in the first 30 seconds of game. Positive start from Wednesday, and they squeeze in a high line. Obviously MK Dons have got the reputation, they like to play it out from the back, all this keeper rolling ball out business. And Wednesday, I talked about it last week, I think Bannon's playing a higher position than he was last season. I got into a debate with somebody actually who thinks he's playing the same role. I think last season he was playing attacking midfield, but more of an inside left. This year I think he's playing more as a proper 10. Whether that's working or not, I'm not sure. But where it is working definitely 100% is in terms of us closing down from the front. Wednesday really pressing, and as I said in the last review from the Portsmouth game, so also up there, get it wedged. Pressing as a front three. Bannon going up there and making a three with the strikers when we're closing down them in possession. So it's really front foot start from Wednesday. They're getting after him. They're attacking at pace. They're putting early delivery in. As I said, Johnson puts a fantastic cross in after just 20 seconds. 10-15 minutes, Liam Palmer, again, playing really high at one point. We've got a goal kick his further ahead than Patterson. Drives on, looks like he's going to swing one into the back post. Actually sells a dummy to Lewington. Brilliant little cutback, and Volks gets in there, but he just miscues it. And again, it's another chance because begging. Penalty, 20 minutes. Windass blasts it away. Was it a penalty? Well, it was bang on line, and it was a foul. So, swings and roundabouts. Seen plenty of them given against Wednesday over years. You take the breaks where you can get them. Actually, there's one interesting thing about that as well. Just as Windass is turning, he's facing that way, and he comes round in an arc. But as he's coming in to face it, Patterson makes a run across the defender. Now, he doesn't actually take him away because the kid's obviously like, Windass is here. But as he goes across front of him, their defender does take a sidestep to the right hand side. And then Windass drives in on the left, and it's just that he's off balance, and it's a clumsy challenge. I don't think he means to foul him, you know what I mean? But if you look again, watch replay highlights or whatever, Patterson just goes across for him, and I think it is just enough to wrong foot him and put him off balance. Well taken penalty, and to be honest, Wednesday deserved lead at that point. There's a big 5 minutes after the penalty. Firstly, there's a minute's applause for a young MK Dons fan, Lucy Dawson, young lass who sadly passed away this year. Impeccably observed, 4 sides of the ground, everybody applauding. It's during this applause that Vermeo goes down in clear pain. Tries to get to his feet. It's one of them things you can almost imagine physio like, stay down. But referee allows play to go on. I'm going to try not to talk about the referee. I thought he was another absolute shocker. In fact, no, I'm going to talk about referees. We've had 10 yellow cards in 2 games. Opposition, none. Portsmouth, MK Dons. Oh, well, okay, 2 of them is Gregory's that becomes a red, but 10? We're not even that dirty aside. Some of it's for lip. Anyway, I'll come back to that. For me, well, goes down clearly in agony. Ref allows play to go on. He's limping about. He's trying not to play him onside. It's all a bit of a nightmare. He goes off and apparently left the ground on crutches with a boot. How did I think he did? There were aspects to his game I liked. I thought he was good in the air. I like the balance he brings with his natural left foot, what I mentioned before. He just opens the play, and we're not always going inside into that congested area. And there were a lot of times he just got that nice sweeping ball out to Johnson, who were able to, hug the touchline. And so I like that side of him. There was a couple of times where they did get in behind him. They did turn him, which I'm not exactly sure how, because it was quicker than their lad, and it was a more physical unit. I'm going to have to watch it back, but there were probably 3 or 4 times he did actually get past him on that side. So, mixed bag, and then, of course, an injury that doesn't look very good at all. So, hopefully he recovers from that. It's the last thing we need, but it does open the door again for Domayova to get back in the team, and it emphasises, really, what I said in a video the other month. There's another one up there you can watch, that I do feel we're short of another centre-half for providing competition back there. Wednesday so dominated that first half an hour of the game. Thought it played really well. Obviously they were more defensively aware than I think they were last week. I think the importance of having a defensive midfield player in there that was highlighted before is really important if you're playing a back 3, because you need someone who's going to give that shield of protection. especially if you've got two attacking midfield players and your wing backs getting forward, just having somebody out there who can go out and shuttle a ball into the channel and get across there and cover it without your centre halves getting dragged out and spread all over the shop. I think that's vital. And Volks did that really well, actually. We'll come on to him later. But Wednesday couldn't keep that up, 100 mile an hour for the entire half. Football don't work like that. There are times you've got to have a breather or whatever. And MK Dons did have a little spell sort of coming up to break. And Wednesday didn't press really high up the pitch. They just compacted it more and just let MK have it at back. And I didn't think they were very good with it. I really didn't. I know they've had a lot of changes. I think 13 out, 13 in. And they did have a lot of ball and they did move it about, but I didn't think there was any. I don't want to say there weren't any intent. It was like training manual football. It was like him to him, back to him, back to him, and it was really easy for Wednesday to contain. But just after Firmino went off, Grigg went off. It was obviously their talisman. He's had two previous spells there done brilliantly for him. And I actually thought that really worked in their benefit because the lad who came on, young centre forward Matt Dennis, I thought he looked a real live wire, especially in the second half. Ironically, for all the possession that they've had in the first half and Odin really going after it Wednesday, probably one of our best opportunities comes when MK Dons are having their spell. Move breaks down. Fabulous ball from Marvin Johnson. It's a 35-yard curling ball round and gives Delibisheru something to get after. Does really well to get there. Nudges his man off the ball. Got a huge upper body strength. Turns into the box and just one of them frustrating ones because if he's got his head up straight away, he can just roll one into Windass's path because he's just coming in just from edge at D. Can roll one in with left foot. There's a covering defender coming in. Delibisheru's on his right foot, so he cuts back inside him, and then he gets the shot away, and it's actually a very good save from Cumming, the keeper. But one of those I talked about last week, decision making, I thought he'd really improved. I think when he's nudged first man off ball and he's driving into the box, I think he can just get ahead, and I think he can just roll one just outside at keeper's. Coming football to that area, and that Windass has probably got a little tap in there. But good first half from Wednesday. They had a little bit of ball, didn't really do anything with it, and quite comfortable at break. MK Dons change it a little bit at second half. I don't mean formation wise or anything like that. They stuck with that, but second half they weren't afraid to pop one in behind. They were, the right back Oyegeke, I think they call him. First half he was little tricks and flicks and trying to get round. Second half he would just head up and he were looking for them little flip balls in behind because, like I said, they brought this Matt Dennis on, this young striker, and he looked quite lively and willing to try and stretch behind Wednesday. So they did mix it a little bit, and I thought MK Dons looked better for doing that. They did make a sub though. They brought on a kid, Kemp. He was a bit of a terrier, a bit of a rat, and tempers did start fraying in game because he were a bit of an ankle rattler. This Kemp that they brought on. I mean, they had to bring him on, by the way, because the kid they got on the left hand side in the first half. Let me check his name. Holland. Didn't look like he wanted to be a footballer. Stood out there. And them kids who turn up with old kit and don't want to get it dirty. He reminded me of one of them. I thought he'd be apparently a highly promising youngster from West Ham or somewhere like that. But he reminded me of, like, when somebody's nephew comes to help Sunday League team out, and I'll come and play it, and then he sees all big rough ass bloke smoking tabs and supping cans before kick off, and I just stood out there. I don't know why it's upset me because he doesn't even play for us, but I kept watching him and thinking, like a floating shirt. Anyway, so Kemp come on for him. He was a horrible little ratter. And speaking of horrible ratters, my old nemesis, Bradley Johnson, who I didn't like at Leeds, I didn't like at Norwich, I certainly didn't like him when he was at Preston, the dirty bastard, and I don't like him now. And he's felled Bannon, and then after he's felled Bannon and he's sort of running away to get away with it, like shithousers like him do, he then grabs Bannon's ankle and just, oh, he's an horrible thing, he is. And that incident actually gets Bannon booked later because it's clearly on his mind. You know, he's chasing referee about for 2 minutes, Bannon. And Bradley Johnson is a shithouse. And later, Bannon just leaves one on him. It's not particularly bad, in my opinion. It's a foul, but it's not a nasty one. But that had been coming because the ref didn't get a grip with this one. I really don't like Bradley Johnson. So this Kemp's come on the right hand side and they push Barry, who'd be played on the right wing first off. He gets pushed out to left hand side for this Holland kid who didn't look interested. And this Barry wants ball all the time. He's one of them players. He reminded me a bit of that lad who played for Sunderland in semi-final last year, that Jack, whatever his name was. One of them. Keep me, I'll have it, keep me, I'll do something. Big positive attitude. So he went out to that side and he started causing Wednesday some problems, and Jack Hunt were getting pinned more and more back as the game went on. And in fact, Wednesday as a whole started getting pinned back. You know, they've made these changes. Suddenly they've got Kemp that side, Barry that side, really pushing on. They've got the young lad on up front who's replaced Grigg, who's lively. He'll drop in and he's always looking to spin in behind. And so Wednesday were getting pinned further and further back. We were soaking this pressure and you wonder how long you can take it. But it showed the benefit, that spell, when, you know, they were having all the ball. Showed the benefit of having somebody like Volks in there. We talked about the other week. You've just got somebody in there who can compress and shuttle about in front of that back four. How did Volks do? I thought he did well, actually. Clearly not 100% fit. There were 1 or 2 times when he'd be going for maybe a 50-50, but he was having to jump to get there, if you know what I mean, a slide to get there and hook it away. So I don't think he's 100% at the minute, but wants to win tackles, wants to get a foot in, obviously likes that competitive side of game. So I thought he had a good game. I think there's going to be plenty to come from him. Like I said, harsh on George Byers to be dropped because I thought he had a good game last week, but clearly an attacking midfield three like that, away from home, and with what happened after the break with MK Dons coming, you suddenly see the benefit of having somebody in there. It's 77 minutes before Darren Moore makes a change, and like I said, I've debated with people last season who thinks he make them late, and I've also he's made him 50 to 60. I think that's quite early for most managers, but 77 minutes yesterday when he makes changes, and Wednesday was soaking this pressure, and like I said, that's where somebody like Volks is really important, shuttling about, winning them tackles. The substitutions themselves, I was a little, I'm not surprised, but I did wonder how we were going to shape up. And I've got to give the manager credit, because although we were still under the cosh, we did get bodies in areas that did block out a lot of passing angles. So Backinson came on for Bannon, and George Byers came on for Josh Windass. I was a bit surprised to see Backinson and Byers both coming on for a centre midfield player and a centre forward, but this is how it sort of lined up. We've been pinned back anyway into a back five, then we got the three in front, and when we were attacking, Deli Bashir was given that licence to go and drive forward and join Patterson and attack. But of course, when we lost the ball, Deli Bashir was dropping back into a midfield position, and what that allowed to do is allow Byers to get out to the right and help support Hunt and stop him getting overloaded, and equally Backinson out to the left hand side, stop Johnson getting overloaded out there, and to that end it actually worked well. Not pretty, and I'm sure folks don't want to see it every week, but sometimes effective trumps pretty, doesn't it? I've seen 1 or 2 people questioning Windass thing, because when you're under the cosh, and we were under the cosh by the way, one of your main weapons to get at is you've got to either have someone who you can hit up front and they're going to hold the ball up and let you pull out, midfield and defence and squeeze up the pitch. They're going to hold it up there and give you a chance to get forward. Or the other one is somebody who you can just flip one and try and get something on counter-attack. And the only way Wednesday were going to get a goal in this second half was on the counter-attack, by the way. So I can understand people saying, leave Windass on. I can understand why I didn't know, because we conceded 3 headers last week, and Callum Patterson, he might not be a striker. I'm not sure what he is. I think his best games for me have been at right wing back and centre midfield, but that's a different debate. Callum Patterson is useful in air, and with us conceding 3-headed goals last week, we're coming under the cosh from MK Dons. They are getting the odd corner. They got somebody with a decent long throw. So I think Patterson were left on with defending in mind as much as all else, defending set pieces. Also worth remembering, of course, that Windass was also playing with a knee strap in, so maybe that played a part in the decision as well. So we finished with a sort of 5-4-1 come 5-3-2 when we're attacking, which is rare. And when we do attack, we're just trying to get the ball into the corner flags and waste a bit of time. And we'll basically do what teams do to us week in, week out, waste time. But we pulled it off. Good result. Clean sheet. I'm actually probably more buzzing about the fact we've kept a clean sheet, because it's nice to win games and this, that, or the, but you're looking for more than just the result, or at least I am. There's certain things that I want to see in a game, and certain things I want to see in a performance and a level of performance from players. And a clean sheet is part of that, and defending well is part of that, and I thought we defended well yesterday. Stockdale made 2 fantastic saves. It was a double save. I think it was that rat Kemp. He got a shot in. Really good low save from Stockdale, and then Lewington knocks in a pile driver on rebound from about 20 yards, and he got to that as well. And he showed all his experience at end of game. Stockdale, balls rolling through into the box, and he would just falling on it and just having a look about, how they do. So nice for Wednesday fans to see our players being able to do that for one. Having players who's got the know-how to do that anyway, and the balls to do that. So we cling on for the win. Like I said, nobody really wants to see a 5-4-1, but you do what you've got to do to get a result. And if we do that away from home all season, a bit more open at home and start winning them games, and I think everybody will be happy with that. So 4 points from 2 games, or 2 points in 2, which is an average over a season that I'd see probably in the top 2 spots most seasons. So positive start. The one thing I would say is that these 2 games have both followed the same pattern, that Wednesday have started well, had a good 45 minutes, and then a sloppier 45 minutes, a looser 45 minutes. It's like the reverse of Gary Monk, where we always played better in the second half, apart from the last 5 minutes when we conceded goals, obviously. But yeah, I thought there were a lot of positives in that performance there. Man of the match. 2 terrific saves from Stockdale, and showed all his experience. I thought he was very good. I thought Delabishiro was good in flashes, especially at the end, driving on, taking the ball with him and carrying us up the pitch when we were under pressure and getting it in corner flags. I thought Volts were good, but not at 100%, so probably not a man of the match contender. I thought Hekwe was good. Anigan made one fantastic challenge in first half, I nearly forgot to mention. Kid wriggled into the box, and he's just an Anigan waits. He could step in, and a lot of people would step in. That there's that willingness and wanting to get ball off somebody when they're in that position, but he just stands, and then when Kid makes his move, he just toes it away, and it was good defending. It won all his headers as well, Anigan, yesterday. I thought he was good. I thought Hekwe was solid. I think he looks much better on right at defence than on left of it. And speaking at left of defence, I thought Liam Palmer had a terrific game. I thought they actually caused us less problems down that side when Palmer went to left centre half than when Firmino was on that side. And heck, with last week, I thought he had a really solid game, Palmer. But small moments change games, so I would have to get to Stockdale, man of the match. Yeah. Midweek game against Sunderland. I'm about to record a preview for that. Hopefully 11 changes, because league's the most important thing, and honestly I'm getting like everybody else now at cup competitions. Forget about it. Probably change my mind on the day, especially if we lose. So yeah, not a brilliant performance from Wednesday in terms of football, especially the second half, but they dug in, and that is half of football, digging in to get results when you're not brilliant. If you do that, you've got a chance. So, yep, Stockdale man at match, clean sheet for Wednesday, point away at a club that will be expected to be there or thereabouts despite all their changes, and good result. I was just blathering there, didn't end. Honestly, I'm knackered.